It's the Pete Sousa Show. Sports, Pete.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at a stop. I thought I was fine, and then once I got home, I realized it's a lot worse than I thought. I ended up having a ruptured disc. You say you're not hurting, and then an hour later, you're saying you're in all this pain. I just felt like most people would think that I was lying. And that's when I decided to call Daniel Stark. I owe a lot to Daniel Stark. They really got me what I deserved.
The difference is stark.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level when we shut down to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning, so we love Extraco.
With Ease US makes studio quality voiceovers for your videos online in over 149 languages and dialects. Never been easier to create professional grade videos and voiceovers. Try it today at easeus.com. That's EASEUS.com. Ease US.
Hi, I'm Mitch, the co-founder of Cake, a sexual health and wellness company designed for today and designed for you. Yes, you. The entire product line can be found at hellocake.com, and it's also available in every Walmart near you.
Send money abroad in just a few steps with Remitly. Sign up with your email, enter an amount, choose how your loved ones receive the money, enter your recipient's information, select a payment method, hit send, and relax. Download the Remitly app today.
Tervis is all about staying hydrated. Each product is built to last and comes in endless designs to match your personality. Stay refreshed and express yourself with Tervis. Visit tervis.com today and find your perfect tumbler.
Looking for tickets to the hottest shows, games, and events? Ticket Liquidator is your one-stop shop for great prices, no hassles, and guaranteed tickets. Whether it's sports, theater, or concert, for the best seats at the biggest events, start with Ticket Liquidator today at ticketliquidator.com. Ticket Liquidator. The You Like Air 3, launched in 2023, ushers in a new era of sapphire ice cooling technology, offering nearly painless hair reduction in just 3 weeks. That's ULIKE.com. You Like.
It's the Pete Sousa Show. Here we are live from the compound in the Rogue Media Network building. It's actually the Alco building, but I used to always love to call it.
I was going to say, you got to be careful about saying compound in Waco.
Oh, you got to be careful about saying compound in Waco. Man, I mean, I was talking to my buddy Steve Turnberger, ESPN director, just yesterday, and he had mentioned to me, he asked, what does Waco stand for? We ain't coming out. I was like, Steve, come on, man. Like, you got to come up with something better than that. That's just lame. But we are not lame. We're here on a Friday. We have a huge show for you. It was funny. I was listening to a guy who I love listening to, Brian Curtis. He has a media podcast. It's called The Press Box, and it's on I love the Press Box Chronicles with Jeff Pearlman, and I love the Press Box on The Ringer. It's Brian Curtis and I think Joel Anderson is on it too. Joel Anderson was a backup running back for LaDainian Tomlinson at TCU and is now a great writer. And he has been a great writer for a while, but he's just kind of come on my radar with The Ringer and what he's doing over there. So it's Brian Curtis and Joel Anderson. And Curtis is pretty like dry humor, and he starts the show like most sports radio hosts say they have a huge show today. He's like, we actually have a huge show. And he was going through all the stuff in sports media. He was like Jimmy Kimmel, Molly Qerim, Tom Brady, like with the headset on in a booth. Like it was like, and it reminded me like, man, we are not short on stories nowadays. I mean, we're not. And if you remember the summertime, this is now the sports media, the sports news cycle has never been more powerful and never been more of a juggernaut. And it is 365 days a year. Of course, we slow down somewhat over the summer, but nothing like the respite we used to take. And as much as that's fine with me. Like I love it, especially now for somebody who hosts a daily show. There's content coming at you from all angles, and there's commentary, right? Opportunities coming at us from all angles. And I appreciate it, but there's so much going on today. We're going to talk with Cam Stewart, one of Rogue Media's own, and he and I are going to talk about some of that sports media. Cam and I I went on Locked on Baylor yesterday with Cam, and Cam, when he was in this building last year, we did a lot of stuff together, and we haven't had the opportunity to do as much. Obviously, this fall, just with he's in Boston now, I'm here, I'm traveling, but yeah, Cam and I are going to we're going to link back up. So I'm looking forward to that today. And then next week, we got a huge slate. Monday, we got Anthony Becht. Tuesday, we got Artie Kempner from Monday Night Football, the director there for a long time, and a couple other big guests. David Pollack, I think we're trying to hammer down what day we're going to have him on next week. So a lot going on here, a lot of great guests this week. You know, of course, always thanks to Chris Visser, thanks to Scotty Swingler, and thanks to Slovacics. I mean, Slovacics, that's it yesterday. They put my Dave Aranda rant about him not getting to UCLA, or not the fact that I think he's not going to UCLA online yesterday. And I got a note from somebody that was like, man, your Slovacics plug on this thing is amazing. I'm like, that's because Slovacics is amazing. And on a college football weekend like this, when a lot of folks are going to Texas, by the way, you got the battle for the Iron Skillet, right? That's going on in North Texas, TCU and SMU. And then, of course, Baylor and Arizona State. Texas Tech is going all the way out to Utah. By the way, I went on a radio show in Lubbock this morning. It was a great hit. Talked about Utah and Texas Tech. But then they, on the way out, they asked me to give them a score. And I was kind of like, score. So I said 24-17, Texas Tech. But, you know, the issue with that was I should have gone with my old friend Darby Brown, who's now in Austin doing sports there. Darby never gave scores out. I'll remember to this day, David Smoke and Darby were doing the old version of the pregame show. Now it's the reimagined Green and Gold show that you can catch. I guess it is. What time on KWTX Saturday?
Man, KWTX 9 to 10:30 on Saturday morning.
9 to 10:30 Saturday morning.
The pregame show starts at 3:30 on YouTube.
And the pregame show 3:30 on YouTube. We'll be right out there outside McLean Stadium at the FIMFO tailgate if you want to come by and say what's up. But in a similar setting, a few years ago, David Smoke was like, "All right, Darby, let me get the score of the game." And Darby was like, "David, I don't do scores. I don't do predictions." I was like, "Damn, Darby." And she was like, "It ain't happening," which I thought was pretty cool. It says a lot about Darby. And, you know, no flies on Smoke for asking. I would ask too. But anyways, I got compromised this morning and I gave my prediction and I think it's going to be wrong. But they put me on the spot. I didn't want to leave them hanging. I didn't have the moxie that Darby has. Want to begin today. Also want to thank Daniel Stark Injury Lawyers, obviously. Crawford, Austin Properties, Socorro Family Ford, and First National Bank of Central Texas. We will be revealing Dan Ingham's Take It to the Bank pick here a little bit later on in the show. Dan couldn't make it this week, and that's fine. He'll be back next week, but we're definitely going to give his pick and hold him accountable. We're a big feet to the fire network around here. So last night I watched the Amazon Prime Buffalo Bills Miami Dolphins game, and what a delightful game. Now it was it sucks to see Miami cratering, and I never want to see Mike. I love Mike McDaniel. I think he's a great personality. He's a little different. I think maybe he's become, like we all can. I certainly believe like he maybe got caught up in Mike McDaniel. I mean, if you remember the first year they go to the playoffs, they lose on the road in that wild card game in Buffalo. It was freezing cold. And then I think they lost in the other in another playoff game in the freezing cold to Kansas City like 2 years ago. They really haven't had much of a shot to excel in the playoffs just because of their cold weather climates that they've ended up playing in. Last night, it was a great opportunity for the Dolphins, 0-2, but you're on the road and you're playing Buffalo on September 17th or September 18th. Like, that's a great draw. And they were in the game all the way down to the end. And a couple observations from the game last night. One, Tua is, he makes more money than Patrick Mahomes. He makes more money than Josh Allen. He certainly doesn't deserve to be paid more money than those two guys. And I don't know, and I think it could be, and I never want to get into this because I'm not a doctor, but the way that he plays, if you think about the severity of some of those hits he's taken, I mean, just a couple years ago on a Thursday night game similar to last night's, all we could talk about was that fencing position we saw him in after getting concussed once again. And I'm not saying like he's not the same on the street. Like, clearly the guy seems to have great clarity and he's a very sharp guy, and everybody, whoever gets to engage him, absolutely loves him as a person. But on the field, you can identify that in certain moments for a quarterback who is making, again, more money than Patrick Mahomes, more money than Josh Allen, he doesn't necessarily seem to have the control over the game that you want your number one quarterback, who you've decided to pay more than anybody else, right? Not anybody else, but almost anybody else, to have just to be a governor of the game. And too often last night, I saw Tua in situations where he was not only sped up, he was completely rushed out of his mind. And it seemed like, I can only imagine what it's like to play in the NFL. And it's like a car wreck every 2 minutes for those guys. And some of the hits that these skill position players sustain don't necessarily come on an every down basis, but when they come, they are bell ringers. And I imagine that Tua kind of still has some of that in the way back of his mind. And I'll tell you what, though, he put, I want to say this, when Miami is trying to come down the field, first of all, bad teams do stupid stuff. And it was such a shame. The game is tied. Miami gets a 3-and-out. I'm talking to you guys like you never watched a football game, and you probably watched this one. But Miami gets a 3-and-out. It was like the fourth time in a row they would have forced the Buffalo Bills to punt the ball at home. Like, this is now really feeling like, oh, man, this is a moment here for the Dolphins. They're about to get the ball back with an opportunity to win the game. And one of their best defenders, the guy's name escapes me right now, had a chance to block a punt, and he roughs the Bills kicker. And the drive extends, and like you don't give Josh Allen extra opportunities. And he took that opportunity and cashed right in with a beautiful touchdown. And, that led to Miami having an opportunity to tie the game, but backs are against the wall. And they're driving down the field, and it's starting to look good. They get across the 50, and Tua now is sort of feeling like he's in a rhythm. And I appreciate Kirk Herbstreit and Al Michaels. Their team, they couldn't be any more opposite. I believe they totally get along. There was like all kinds of rumors like they don't like each other. I don't believe that at all. I think they totally like each other. I just think they come across so differently on the air that that's a conclusion that a lot of people from far away might draw. I mean, Al is the crotchety old dude, and Kirk is like, man, that was great. Like, and you kind of feel like Kirk is maybe overselling at times. And then there's Al, who's like underselling. I'm like, come on, Al, wasn't that bad. So it's funny. The two of them sort of balance each other out. Al is so far to the other extreme, though. I do appreciate Herb Street for he's always himself. I mean, when Josh Allen came back on the field before that drive was extended by the roughing the kicker penalty, Herb Street did an amazing job. Like, they teach you in broadcasting, like, set the table, almost like go back to revisit, the points of the broadcast that we showed in the open, let people understand the documentation of the game and where we are right now. And Herb Street actually kind of took the keys, not like Al Michaels cares, but he was like, man, isn't this exciting? We get to see Josh Allen, probably the best quarterback in the NFL right now, at home with the keys to the car, with the chance to drive his team down the field for a winning score on a Thursday night game. I'm like, damn, this is awesome. Like, that's a good job, I think. Like that I was vibing with that. But Tua has the ball back as we go back to what I wanted to talk about on the football field. Tua has the ball. They're driving down the field. You kind of feel like, okay, the Dolphins have something going. And Tua throws the ball with great confidence, right to Terrell Bernard, right? Baylor's own Terrell Bernard, who is such a problem defensively. And he continues to be all over the field. Here he is right now, stepping in front of Jalen Waddle, who, by the way, Mr. Waddle had like 4 amazing catches last night. A huge touchdown, a 4th down catch, a 3rd down catch. Like, good on him, man. He made some huge catches. The Dolphins really showed a lot last night, but that doesn't get you anything. But I want to mention Bernard. When you watch, just knowing football like I kind of do, and having been fortunate enough to be around coaches and to be in rooms where film has been broken down. Like when I was in the University of Richmond, we would, I never played. I had the heart problem, but I would always be with the team. I would travel with the team, and we would watch. I would break down film, like cut it with McShay. We would cut like the tight version and the wide version because Todd was hurt too. So you'd have to checkerboard that. And if you screwed up, you were really going to hear it from the coaches. And Coach Reed was our head coach. And at that point in time, we would actually have to drive to, like, if we were getting tape from, let's say, Liberty, right? Another school in Virginia, we would drive somewhere to meet these people. You'd exchange VHS tapes and drive back. Now, you guys know my story if you watch this show. Like, I'm driving out there, under who knows. Actually, at that point in time, I was just smoking a lot of pot, sober, 14 years almost in November. But I was out of my mind back then. So I'm driving. I bring back the tape. I'm like, wow, coach. I was like, this tape only has the end zone copy. I don't understand. And Coach Reed would be like, that's because there were 2 of them. Where's the other? I'd be like, I'd look at McShay and be like, you have it? I have no idea. And there was a lot of that. I mean, we drove Coach Reed crazy. But I know a little bit about watching film because I've had the opportunity to watch film with guys like Coach Reed, with guys like Joe Cohen, who's now the defensive line coach for the Kansas City Chiefs. Frank Leonard, right, just finished up a career coaching at Penn State, all over college football. So these are guys who really were some heavy hitters. Coach Reed was a defensive coordinator for Boston College the last time they played in a bowl game and was with Kirk Ferentz at Iowa. He finally retired. Coach Reed actually coached for the Dolphins for a few years. But I say all that, right? I qualify myself to have a little bit of football intel here because I feel like people all over are just like, yeah, that guy was off the spot and the timing was wrong. Okay. Well, last night it was very clear to me that Terrell Bernard had the answers to that test. Terrell Bernard, and I've heard this from people around Baylor, he is not a guy that just like works out, is a great guy, shows up to the facility, practices, and then goes out and uses his natural skill set and everything he picked up at practice to excel and be a problem for the opposition. No, Terrell Bernard is like spending a lot of time in film rooms, right? A lot of time just chewing up tape. This is extra work. And what happened last night was truly like, okay, Tua, there was no reason in Tua's mind that Terrell Bernard should have been there. But it's very clear that Terrell Bernard knew exactly where he should be, right? And he steps in front and he makes that play and he seals the deal. I was actually texting with Cam at the time, and he was saying some nonsense. But I said, hey, Terrell Bernard just sealed the deal for Buffalo against Miami, which I thought was like, it's fitting because I hear dudes like Scotty tell me how incredible Terrell Bernard is. And whenever I watch a Bills game, the dude's making plays. Like every time I watch a Bills game, he's making plays, which means they're usually big games because the Bills games that end up on television, they are one of the perennial teams in the NFL. But when the Bills just randomly come across my television set, it's usually something like a Thursday night game, right? Where I'm going out of my way to watch the only game on at that time, or a Sunday night game, or maybe a 4:00 CBS game. You get the picture in the playoffs. But last night too, the Thursday night football, the production is is really slick. And Amazon, if you remember, we go back now, I think this is their 3rd or 4th year doing this. First of all, I was like, it's weird that I'm conscious of Al Michaels' happiness. I don't know where that comes from. I think it's because I'm an adult child of an alcoholic. You're always trying to lighten the mood and make things happy. Because when my dad came home, I mean, he was the best dad ever, and he did the absolute best he could. But when he would come home, he would, he had us on eggshells, And so what you're trying to do as an adult child of an alcoholic, or the child of an alcoholic, is you're constantly cracking jokes and trying to make people happy, and the comfort and the happiness of everybody else in the room. For some reason, you think it depends on you and your ability to change the vibe. And that can be an asset as you get older. It can also be a complete piano to carry around because that ain't your job. But I still kind of have that. And last night, Al Michaels, the fact that he had a good game in the 4th quarter, and you can tell he was enthusiastic about it, and he was happy about the game and how close it was, kind of, for me, I was like, oh, this is great. Al's happy. This is wonderful. Because 95% of the time in the 4th quarter of those games, you're usually hearing Al complain about how bad the game is, how these two teams suck. I mean, it really is. He does not have much of a filter on that. And why should he, right? He's Al Michaels. I'll still take a grouchy Al Michaels who's fading a little bit. You can hear, I mean, I was literally, and this is just being another broadcaster, I was turning the volume up last night. I was like, is Al kind of losing his timber, or is my volume down? And it was a combination of both. Even when I turned my volume all the way up, it was clear that Herb Street was coming through a little sharper and louder than Al. And when you think about the fact that you're not going to get a better production opportunity for a play-by-play guy. So you got to believe Al is as in full throat as he could be, thanks to the audio folks at Amazon who are doing that game. And thanks to the production squad of the production there. So it's always great to watch those games. I think Iron Eagle is coming down, is who will take over for Al. I don't know if that's official yet. I heard Iron Eagle yesterday. I love talking about Chris Russo. So Iron Eagle is on Chris Russo. And this is why I love Mad Dog. Mad Dog is talking to him, and these guys have known each other for a long time. And Mad Dog's like, all right, well, tell me this. He's like, November 24th, you got a Knicks game. Or no, you got a Nets game on a Thursday night. They're playing Golden State. You're contracted to do the Nets for the Nets for the Yes Network, but you got Baltimore at Cleveland on Amazon on Thursday night. Where are you going to be? And Iron Eagle was like, well, Chris, I can promise you're the only person on planet Earth who has any concerns about that. I think I'll figure it out. And the two of them laughed. But yeah, I'm looking forward to Al just riding off in the sunset. And I'm there for every game he's calling. So it was fun to watch last night. A little more on the fallout from that game. I mentioned at the top, I really like Mike McDaniel, and I really want to see him succeed. But man, it's now looking as though he probably won't last the season. At 0-3, with a team that is pretty talented, the Dolphins are. I think it was Peter Schrager saying before the season how excited he was about the Dolphins because of all their talent. But they have not come through for their head coach. And damn, last night they sure as hell tried to. And last week they were close, right? The Indianapolis game, they just got completely blitzed and they had no chance. But they're fighting for this coach, which is a reason why he may survive a little bit longer. But if you look at the odds, right, on FanDuel, he is like minus 500 to be the first coach fired this season in the NFL, which puts it, I mean, that's like, if you don't know like how odds work, that's like 45% to say he'll be gone. Brian Daboll is the next in line. He's plus 300. That's about 25%. And then Kevin Stefanski is after him. The college guys are the same. I don't even like talking about this, but I did mention last week or yesterday that these guys make $10 million a year, some of them. So we can talk about it. College is still Mike Gundy is the number one guy that could get the axe first, then Billy Napier, then Tony Elliott. So you never want to see anybody lose their job, and that's why I was pulling for Mike McDaniel last night. That and I just like the guy from afar, but not looking great for him right now at 0-3. But his team did play their asses off last night. All right, we're going to take a break. We're going to come back with the great Cam Stewart. He's the host of the Cam Show here at the Rogue Media Network. He lives in Boston now. He actually has like a really nice brand new set. He doesn't know. Is he in the waiting room, Scotty?
No.
Okay, he doesn't know this yet, but I'm going to get on his ass about something that's going to make Cam better in his career. And he doesn't know it yet, but we're going to bring that up. We're going to take a quick break, watch some ads that don't quite make some sense yet, but we're working on them. And we'll be back. The Pete Sousa Show is presented by Slovacics. If we show you, you're about to see an advertisement, right? And it's going to be a car dealership, and it's going to be beautiful, okay? There's going to be a beautiful montage of pictures. That is going to be Socorro Family Ford, okay? And then they're going to show you some music and a beautiful place where they have amazing kolaches and food, and it's just going to look like home. That is Slovacics. Slovacics first, I think, then Socorro Family Ford second. Keep that in mind as you chew up these commercials, and we come back here shortly. Don't go anywhere. I saw somebody complaining. There was a comment yesterday about the length of the commercials. We're working on it, all right? Hang in there with us. Pete Sousa Show, back after this.
Bubble allows you to make it real and for it to actually work. So I feel like Bubble bridges that gap and being able to give people the opportunity to make their ideas come to life really quickly too. I love that I can sit down and build something the way that I think it should be built and have the control over it.
Bubble turns ideas into fully scalable apps. Try Bubble today.
Hi, I'm Jo from Face Theory. You're going to want to have a specific goal for your skincare routine. What do you want to achieve? Active ingredients are really strong, and if you're using too many at once, your skin can get overwhelmed. Don't overspend on products. Choose products that have scientific research behind them. At Face Theory, if you're not happy with a product, just say so, just give us a shout and we'll give you your money back, no problem.
I know you're gonna love this Kodak Dot Plus printer. You guys just connect it to your smartphone and then you're gonna use the Kodak Photo Print app. It's going to print you a 4x6 photo. I am just in awe. I love how these turned out. Also, the printer comes with a free cartridge of 10 photo sheets. I can assure you, you are going to love this printer as much as my family has. You guys have to check it out for yourself.
Streamline event and appointment booking with Amelia's sleek, modern, and fully customizable booking forms. Tailor the colors, fonts, and design to match your brand and seamlessly integrate with your WordPress website. Whether it's for events or appointments, Amelia makes booking simple, stylish, and perfectly aligned with your business. Enhance your booking experience today at WPAmelia.com. That's WPAMELIA.com. Amelia.
When you learn a language with Babbel, you start a journey that takes you further and further. Anytime and anywhere you wish. It's easy and fun. Broadens your horizons and keeps your brain fit. A journey into new thoughts, new cultures, new adventures. So what are you waiting for? Start your journey with Babbel now. Go to babbel.com or download the app.
BadCreditLoans.com is a pioneering service provider that has carved a reputation in the financial industry for its dedication to helping individuals with bad credit secure loans. By making timely repayments, borrowers can gradually repair their credit history, thereby increasing their chances of securing better loan terms in the future. BadCreditLoans.com serves as a beacon of hope for those with bad credit. Simple, fast, and reliable loan application process. And its commitment to responsible borrowing makes it a trusted partner in the journey towards financial stability.
Cameron Stewart. It's a brand new setup. It's a brand new guy. He's got brand new energy. Live from Boston, host of the Cam Show, host of Locked On Baylor. The guy is a media juggernaut. Cam Stewart, what's up, man?
Wow. I didn't think you would be able to one up the intro I gave you yesterday on Locked On Baylor, Howard Cosell style, but that was pretty good. I'll take that.
When does that Locked On Baylor go up? Is it up now?
It's up. Yeah. Friday. I wanted Pete getting you into the weekend.
I mean,
Pete to have the last word on the week, so to speak.
It was a lot of fun. I mean, I love being able to hang with you and talk a big Baylor football game, by the way.
Well, sure. And the people really like it, Pete. I'm not just blowing smoke. Every time I have you on, people say get Pete on more. And I'm like,
really?
Pete's a busy guy. Yeah. But I would love to have Pete Sousa on Locked On Baylor as much as we can.
I love it. It's always
some are relating it to my time as a guest on Locked On Baylor. You know, that
they really
look back on fondly. Yes. Yes.
Hey, what's Drake Tobin up to? I haven't heard from him in a little bit. He's still doing Locked On Big 12.
Yes. Yeah. In fact, you can catch him up in your neck of the woods every Wednesday. He flies into DFW to do the Locked On College Football preview show with Gary Patterson.
Yes. So do they do that in the studio in Dallas?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And Jesse Holley, right?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So they're cooking, man. He's cooking.
Yeah, he's been over the stove for some time now. That's our guy. We got to love Drake. I got to get him back on here. A lot of sports media going on, and that's something I'm very fond of talking with you about. You sent me something just before the show, and because I'm going to go on your show, the Cam Show, after this, and you were like, "Hey, maybe we can talk about this." And it was, what was it? The most influential media people so far in the 2000s, right?
Yep.
And you know, we may talk about this on your show, so it's not like I'm blowing anything. Like, Bill Simmons is number one. So I was thinking the other day, you know how you have those brilliant thoughts in the shower? So I was listening to Simmons again, and I was really enjoying him. And I've been through sort of a roller coaster with Bill Simmons because I feel like I was probably really close to being right there at the beginning. And I've really never stopped listening to him, but I have certainly at times it's been way less enjoyable. Like, he had about 1.5 years, 2 years where I would listen to him and then I'd call my buddy Murph and complain about how bad it was. And we would go back and forth. I feel like we've come out of that. I feel like he's on a bit of a heater now. Do you like share the same sentiments? Have you even been listening to him or paying attention?
Yeah. So I got to admit, I don't listen to him a lot during football season. I'm really just getting him mostly for Celtic stuff and broader maybe towards the NBA stuff. Sometimes in the NFL, I'll listen to him like a couple times a year during football season. But I think he's kind of just he's just more comfortable again, if that sounds right. You know, he has Russillo on a bunch, which I don't know what that might look like now, but he had Russillo on a bunch doing NBA and just kind of saying whack ass shit, man. Like he just and now he's become like a meme on social media again of like this, you know, this is what Bill Simmons is talking. He's talking about, you know, some Pistons
memes are hilarious.
16 a game when someone's been assassinated, you know, he's like, that's what Bill Simmons does. And he's kind of just leaned back into it. Like, I just feel like he's more unapologetic than he was a couple years ago, which is what got him to where he was in the first place, was just being unapologetic, sicko, don't really care about anything else kind of thing. So I think he's fallen more into that again. That was
describe it, but for lack of a better term, and I don't want to get in any like dangerous territory here because that's not what this is about. But him and Russillo, they were dangerously close to getting canceled. Like after they had one podcast after like all of the terrible stuff that was going on in our country, and it was high, and then they they had this podcast that was in question. They had to apologize about it. And then there was an article in the New York Times, and Simmons was quoted like, what am I supposed to do? Like, because they were saying he didn't have enough diversity. He's like, this isn't an open mic night. You know, I have to put people on who I know. I remember that was a quote. And I felt like he was very careful after that, which I would have been the same way. You work your whole life to build this thing, and you're up against it. Do you think there was some of that?
Yeah, probably. Yes. And you know, the big Spotify deal comes along with that, you know, all of a sudden you kind of have a bit of an overlord there. But I think that's disingenuous to what Bill Simmons is. And I think you'd agree with that. Like if you read some of Simmons' stuff that he wrote for ESPN 25 years ago, like one in every four things he wrote could have got him canceled now. But it was 25 years ago, man. Like that's what I hate about media these days. Is we're like, well, look at what they said 15, 20 years ago. It's like, well, yeah, the world was a little different 15, 20 years ago. And I think Simmons just kind of leans back into that of like, you know, not trying to push the needle or, you know, thread the needle or push the envelope or try to be almost uncancelable. He just wants to cut it loose a little bit more.
All right, Kirk Minahan.
Thinking about that stuff. Love Kirk Minahan, man.
All right, so, and I have a real question for you.
Yeah.
So yesterday I don't watch Minahan. I saw a clip, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he works for Barstool, right?
Yes. Yep.
So this clip is basically, and he's talking about Portnoy's opinion of what happened to Jimmy Kimmel. And Portnoy, who is his boss, who I've seen take Minahan to task. So I'm just kind of dropping in again from 30,000 feet, thanks to my social media. But like, he is really going after Dave Portnoy about the way that Portnoy handled the Jimmy Kimmel thing and what Portnoy had to say about it, to the point where I was like, you know what? Wait a minute. I need you to debunk this for me, because these two guys work together. I've seen this before, right? This major WrestleMania between these two guys. It honestly, dude, it feels like, what do they call it? Like a work or like kayfabe. Like that's what it feels like. It feels like it's almost not real. Is there a chance it's not real and some of it is like completely, you know, juiced up?
I don't think it's not real. I think it's real. I think because as someone who listens to Kirk every day, the opinion that he's sharing in there is something that he shares all the time. All the time. And this one kind of came to a head, right? He basically said the far right are a bunch of pussies because of how they're reacting to this. And I saw that Portnoy tweet and I was like, oof, really? That Dave Portnoy here? Like this is Dave Portnoy in 2025? Very interesting considering, you know, how the company kind of came to be. But on that same token, the thing that I am critical of Kirk on a little bit is a couple of years ago, a bunch of the Barstool employees, when all the George Floyd aftermath was happening, a bunch of the Barstool employees were like, I got to rethink if I'm going to be able to work here. You know, because Dave said a bad word when doing a rap and was like, I don't know if this guy's racist or not and blah, blah, blah. And Kirk was railing on these employees on his show, being like, if you don't like it, you don't have to work here. Like that is your boss that you're talking about, who's giving you a mic. He's giving you a platform. Like you don't have to do this. You don't, but like, don't be that person who's like, oh, I don't know if I can continue to work here on social media if that's how you're going to be. I think Kirk's counter argument to that would be he had a pretty big platform before he got to Barstool Sports. But I agree with Kirk, man. It's a weird look from Dave Portnoy, considering what Barstool was built on, to come out with that take of consequence culture, not cancel culture.
Well, look,
I think it's real. I do think it's real.
Okay, so it's real, and I mean, that would make sense because you look at just how hyperbolic everyone is right now in the wake of that Charlie Kirk tragedy, and then Jimmy Kimmel's comments, and it's just like, I mean, honestly, I'm not trying to be kumbaya guy, but there's way too much hate and negativity out there. Like I was looking yesterday, I was like, why do we all hate each other? Like we cannot be this far apart as a country. Like you can't have two people that work together be so. You know, I go back to, and this is because I'm stupid and I love sports, I always thought there was a gray area in everything. And the great Phil Simms said once, I remember hearing him be like, everybody talks about stuff like it's black and white. And Sims was like, having been a player, having been in the locker room, having experienced all this stuff, all these experts talk about, let me assure you, there's a gray area, and there's a gray area in everything in life, but we can't seem to find it here. Like, have you been like caught up in any of this stuff online? Like just kind of like the negativity or like, what do you do with that?
Well, dude, I had to, I know it's going to sound like so brave. I had to delete the Twitter app for a couple of days last week.
Good for you.
Which for us is tough to do. Like,
Yeah.
especially for Locked On Baylor, that's where I'm getting a ton of news, right? Like if I could just get rid of social media, I would, but I really kind of can't with the work that I do. And that's okay. Like I'm fine with that. I'm not going to complain about that every day, but I had to for like 2 days last week. I was like, I just can't. I can't do this right now. Because in the world of social media, and unfortunately too much in the world of sports media these days, there is no gray area. It's you're either this or that, and there's no in between. And we have to judge people entirely by one take that they have or one thing that they don't agree with us on, and then we blow that up. And it's like, golly, it's exhausting, man. It's exhausting. And there's a tragedy every week where somebody's just blaming the other side and not trying to get to the crux of the issue, even though they think they are, And so it's the only word I could think of is exhausting.
Yeah. Last thing on this, to somebody like Cam Stewart, who is quite the personality, do you worry about like free speech and stuff? Like, does this, and because you got journalism in your bones, like, can I say I'm not like, but maybe that speaks to me just not like wanting to look at it closely enough. Cause I just don't even want to get like super negative and miserable. I just don't want to live in that. That's just not how I operate, dude. My operation is to let the sunlight of the spirit shine through me onto others. I try to keep it positive,
Yes, you do.
I do.
Yes, you do. I feel that. Let me say this. I'm more worried about what college football is going to look like in 10 years than I do about what free speech is going to look like in 10 years. I just think, I don't know, college football could really fall apart in the next 10 years. I mean, there's some worry about some free speech, but like, again, man, we're not living in North Korea, dude. Like, I need to see people slow their rolls. And it's been 9 years of that kind of stuff. I'm like, dude, we're really not that. Like, women can drive in this country and can go to college, and you can be just about anything you want to be in this country, whether the people on Twitter like it or not. Like, you know what I mean? The thing that I do get kind of worried about, and this is obviously a smaller deal than free speech in general, but like free speech in comedy. I'm a guy who loves comedy, man.
Yes, I've thought about that myself.
Like, comedy is the ultimate, it's like the ultimate free market, right? You either like it or you don't. It's completely like, if you're gonna do something, if you're gonna do a comedy routine that some people might think is like insensitive or racist or misogynistic, guess what? Then you're not going to have a big audience. You know what I mean? Like, it's the ultimate kind of, it's like sports. It's the ultimate results based. If you don't get a laugh or if you don't get a win, you don't get a job. And I do see something like the Jimmy Kimmel thing, and I'm like, well, is it something that I would say up there? Probably not. Is it something that I'm even laughing at? Probably not. But if he has an audience and he's doing comedy, like, we shouldn't be gatekeeping comedy. You know what I mean? Again, it's not me. I don't watch Jimmy Kimmel anyway. I'm not going to watch what's on that show now, or if he had stayed on, I wasn't going to watch him now because of, that joke. But it's like, you should be allowed to make jokes.
It's a bit of a different time. Honestly, dude, and it reminds me of, and this is the last thing we'll say on this, because I know it's going to be painful for some people to listen to or watch, but and hopefully we'll still have the show after this. But I do, like, it reminds me of what happened to Roseanne Barr, like in 2018. I totally remember that, where they were bringing back the Roseanne. The show was a big deal, and she couldn't get out of her own way. She was constantly saying inflammatory stuff, and she put out a stupid tweet, which was anti-Semitic, and see you later. You're gone. ABC, same. I mean, so like, and I know the circumstances are very different, but I just believe, like, this has been going on for some time. There are certain guardrails that you're aware of, and if you go outside those guardrails, like, I'm sorry, it's just, I don't know.
I actually totally agree with that. The thing that I would, the line that I would kind of draw between those two is, like, Kimmel's supposed to be talking about news of the day every day. You know what I mean? And supposed to be making it funny. Roseanne, like, totally get that, man. Like you
Yeah.
got bosses. You know, it's the same way. It's no different for us, really. I mean,
Yeah.
Roseanne has much more of a leash, obviously, at that point.
But no, if Corey Dickman walks in here and says, "Hey, I don't like what you said yesterday,"
you
like
could shut us down for this segment right now.
yeah, you're done.
You
Yeah.
could
All right.
fire
So
us right
let's.
now. That is the risk that you
Good
take.
point. I
every
like
day.
it here. So we're going to move on. All right. When you're watching, and I don't even know if you cared enough to watch the game. And, you know, this goes back to your boy, Kirk Minahan. You can't have it all. Tom Brady.
Yes.
Tom Brady basically coaching for the Raiders the other night. Like, that was like, that one failed the eye test big time. And I'm not saying that Tom Brady is giving away like huge secrets, but it still kind of sucks for anybody who's not Tom Brady.
He's probably not giving away huge secrets, but who knows? Like, who knows, man? Like, there's a reason why we don't have guys who coach on Sundays and call a game on Monday Night Football. Like, there's a reason why we don't have that. And Brady's an owner, but like, if he's conversing and having these meetings with his coaches every week, like that's a big deal. He is getting more access than any other owner in the league to the league's coaches, and then goes back and meets with his own every week. Like, it is bizarre. I don't think it's good. I really don't. And I thought of this the other day. This is obviously not something they'll run into this year or maybe in the next couple of years, but like, what if Fox has the Super Bowl and the Raiders are in the Super Bowl? Like, what do you do then? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
you know, it's like, how do you get to that? Or there's absolutely a roadmap to the Raiders being good next year and having a big time 4:25 Eastern kickoff and a game on Fox. You know what I mean? How do you do that? I don't like it, man. It does go back to the Kirk Minahan thing. You can't have it all. You can have your ownership stake in a team, or you could have your couple $100 million deal with Fox and do these games for the next 10 years. But to me, I think the NFL should be like, you know what? Actually, you can't do both. It's just, you can't have that much access to the rest of the coaches around the league and then be owning a team in the league. And I get it from the other side, like, coaches know that too, so they're probably not going to share everything. But like, you've been in those meetings, Pete. College football coaches. They will tell you. There's quite a bit of information being tossed around there.
And there's another side of it too. Is now
like
and is now, if I'm like a broadcast junkie and I'm 1,000% behind Fox, I'm like, yo, they may not even tell us stuff that they normally would. I don't care if that guy's on Zoom or if he's in the room. Like, I'll have guys tell me, hey, we're going to run these first two plays. You know what I mean? And that's how we're going to get this guy involved. Or this guy right here, he's starting today, but that guy's our quarterback. That guy and you may see him
real
today.
Info. Yeah.
Yeah. Like that stuff. I've heard that stuff this year. Like, so I totally agree with you on that. I think, and I want to ask you, because you're somebody who kind of knows Tom Brady, like, you know, 20 years in New England, like you're obsessed. You know, I think he's kind of being, I don't want to say greedy or selfish, because he's not. It's not that big a deal. But like, I do think he's, you know, Tom Brady's a dipshit like the rest of us. Like, at the end of the day, like, why is he even in that booth with that headset on? Like, that is an ornery move. You know what I mean? And
man.
To me, it was honestly like, wow, Tom Brady's. To me, it really was like, Tom Brady's just as stupid as I am sometimes. Like, it's good to know, you know?
Yeah, it's like, that is a bad optics thing, I think, for Brady, because I think everyone's thinking the way that you just said it. Like, what is this guy doing? You know? Like,
and he may have called somebody afterwards, like his boy Yo, his agent, and been like, yeah, that wasn't my best move.
Yeah.
He probably did.
It is also, the whole thing is bizarre that Brady is with the Raiders, man. Like, week 1 of the season, he played 20 years for the Patriots. Belichick's not even there anymore, and he's rooting against them because his team is facing them. Like, it is weird to see him with the Raiders gear and the headset. But yeah, in terms of coupling that with the broadcast job, to me, I don't think that should fly. I'm sorry. I know that's an old man take. I don't think that should fly.
Last thing on this for me, like I said it right here. I think it's another great example of like, and again, I don't whatever. I don't have an issue with this really, but because it's always been that way. But like people with extreme wealth, like there's just kind of a different set of rules. I hate to say it, but it's kind of always been like that. And this is like a real glaring visual example of that, but it's nothing new. You know, it's a different set of rules for people who are super powerful and can generate a lot of money for the NFL and for the Raiders and for Fox.
This is a prime example of anyone. I think this way about Brady. I would say this about LeBron, Curry, maybe, like all these big time stars, you know, whether it's or Taylor Swift, you know, it doesn't have to be just sports. Like, when was the last time someone told these people no? Well, the Giselle thing. But other than that, when was the last time these people got told, no, you can't do that? No, we don't want that. You know what I mean? Nobody's told LeBron no since he was 14 years old. You know, it's Brady since he was, 25. No one's told him no in a quarter of a century here. So when he's thinking, can I do Fox and the Raiders? It's not even a discussion in his head. He's like, well, of course I can. I'm Tom Brady, and that plays right into it. Could he do it if he was, Chris Sims and he married into a lot of money and he had the money to own a stake in a football team and then do a broadcasting job? Probably not. Yeah. But Tom Brady probably can.
By the way, that's a great call.
It's holding Goodell by the balls, man.
Well, let's go to the one guy who has told Tom Brady no, Bill Belichick. Okay. They play UCF this weekend. I love him calling. If you've ever called a university or UCF game, they are like, don't call us Central Florida. Don't call us Central. We're not the Golden Knights. There's like a whole list of shit. And Bill Belichick, I think in one press conference, was just like he's like Central, Golden Knights, that's classic Belichick. But like, how do you think he's done with the media so far and managing? The last time I had you on, you and I were talking about the Jordan Hudson stuff. And like, look, I got to tip the cap to everybody involved. I don't know how they shut it down, but they did. They have. And,
we said that would happen. We said that.
Good on them. You said that would happen. I didn't know. Well, so good on them and good on you. But how do you think he's been with the media so far?
I mean, good, warm. He's been warmer than he was with the Patriots, which he did kind of soften up towards the end of his Patriots run. I think that last year in 2023, at one point, he apologized to the media for how he acted. And I was like, Belichick's never, ever done that. I think he's doing well with it. I do. Obviously getting Jordan out of the picture, huge move. Okay. Now you're not feeling like he's totally going off the deep end here. Although he is still coaching at North Carolina. That's a weird thing to say.
And he is still with her.
Yes, correct. And he will still have like the balloon shit will still be there, which is so bizarre looking.
That was so stupid, dude.
But like, I think he's doing the most he can with it. Like there's no Bill Belichick media figure in college football, right? Like there's not, nobody is as prickly as him. Even Saban, who shares pretty much the same personality, did not treat the media like dirt the way that Belichick did, right? It just doesn't happen in college. Dabo can be combative. I think maybe the closest in terms of access is probably Dave Aranda to what Belichick was in the pros. Like he doesn't, not that he's a jerk, but he doesn't talk to the media at all. And so I think he's handling it pretty well. He's just somewhere in the middle of the road here. He's not a complete curmudgeon, but I don't think he's going to pull a Kenny Dillingham casino joke or anything like that. I don't think he's going to be as cuddly as Kyle Whittingham can be sometimes. I don't think he's going to be doing interviews with the other team's flagship station the way Kalani Sitake did for the Matt Mosley show a couple of times. But he's somewhere in the middle there. He's going to deal with student reporters. He's going to deal with more podcasters who get credentialed than they do in the NFL. Who I know. Belichick, I think, is doing well with it so far. But we got to see, man. If they're in November, if they're 2-7, is Belichick as warm as he is? Is he cracking a few jokes in there? I don't know.
What about last night? What about last night's game? Did you watch it all?
I watched a little bit. I watched a little bit because,
Okay.
as I told you this morning, I had some money on it, which I don't usually do.
I know you were
The
2 and 3
NFL.
last night, which is
I had a big
dangerous.
parlay hit, man. Yeah.
And you like
big
Tulsa
parlay.
tonight.
Sneaky like it. I think I threw $5 on it. Like I'm just okay. Plus 11.5, $5 to win 10. I feel okay about it.
Okay. Did you like Al Michaels last night? What are your thoughts on Al? I mean, I know you're a play-by-play nut like me. What are you thinking about Al right now?
He's just, it's not like, how do I say this? It's not embarrassing yet. I'll say that.
No.
But you feel like he might be a year away from like falling off the cliff. I mean, the guy's what, in his 80s now? Like,
yeah,
he's old. Still, even like 5 years ago, he was the best in the business, I would say. When he was still doing Sunday Night Football, like he was still the best. And like he's
80. He's 80.
He hasn't lost his fastball necessarily, but where it used to be 96, it's like 92 now.
Yeah.
He's really getting more work out of locating that changeup than he is with blowing you by with the fastball. He's fine. He's fine. I still don't think he's as interested as he was when he was on Sunday night.
I think he's perfect for that Thursday night game. Like, I would rather have the historic figure that is Al Michaels calling that game than like a young, hot play-by-play guy who's awesome like Joe Davis. Like, I would rather have Al just because he's Al. And Joe Davis is amazing.
Yeah. If we're comparing it to what we've heard on Thursday Night Football for a long time, like, yeah, Al's a better. It's definitely going to keep me more engaged for a couple more minutes than it would with Joe Davis, or like when who is that blowhard whose kid played at BC?
Tessitore. He's not a blowhard, dude. He's
good. He must be a guest on the show or something. No,
Tessitore's good. I'm not going to sit here and rip everybody like you.
When he did Monday Night Football, it was agonizing to listen to. Replacing McDonough, who's one of the absolute best in the biz.
Okay.
Al Michaels is fine these days. Fine.
All right, McDonough's still the best in the biz. I don't mean to like be scatterbrained, but I only have you for so long. I got one more big topic that I don't think I've talked to you about yet, or maybe I have. The Big 12. Okay.
The Big 12, baby.
Now on Saturday.
America's conference.
What'd you say?
America's conference.
You lead me to my next point. On Saturday, the Big 12 has the big noon kickoff, right? Then they got a 3:30 Big 12 game, and then they got the Baylor game, right? I mean, so Fox, right? Yeah. Main Fox, big boy Fox. Like, you got to really give big time props to Brett Yormark and that conference and their vision to figure this out, dude. The Big 12 is, I don't care if we get it. It's not the SEC and the Big 10, but you can't run from this conference. It's right in front of you every single Saturday.
Yeah.
Like, that is huge. What do you think this reimagined footprint has done for the conference? Legitimately, because I'm a total homer and you're a little bit more of a skeptic than I am.
Well, I would say what it's done more than pretty much any other conference is that he has set himself up with these media deals to basically.
I'm sorry, by the way, I got to jump in. I didn't mention TNT and all that stuff. Those games on TNT and HBO Max. Come on, go ahead.
He basically set himself up with these media deals to go back to the ADs of his conference and say, if you guys can put good teams out there, the rest is taken care of. You know what I mean? Because I don't think this year is too much different from what the Big 12's been the last couple of years, right? Like, they've got a big game this weekend in two top 20 teams, Utah and Tech, and that's going to be the big noon kickoff. A couple of years ago, we still had those matchups in late September. They just weren't getting this kind of attention. So he's put himself in a position where it's like, you guys just play the football. We've got the rest. And you're going to get a little bit more of a benefit of the doubt than you have the last couple of years because a lot of eyeballs are going to be on you. Like, Yormark knows this game, man.
Yeah.
He knows college football is just as much about optics as it is about resume. Maybe even more so when it comes to the college football playoff. And that's where he set them up. The SEC is the SEC. The Big Ten is the Big Ten. When you compare yourself to the ACC, which is what the Big 12 has to do, you had a top 20 matchup last week that included the best college football playoff contender in the ACC in Miami. That game was on the CW, Pete. That game was on the goddamn CW. And here there's a top 20 matchup in the conference this week, and it's the big noon kickoff. And Barstool's going to be there with all the Fox people, and it's going to be one of the most watched telecasts of the day because big noon always is. And then, like you mentioned, they cornered the market on Fox all Saturday long. You can watch good, high-quality Big 12 football. And that they have a media rights deal that has set them up in a spot better than the other conferences have. The SEC is always going to get the respect. The top teams in the Big Ten are always going to get the respect, but they don't have a media deal that sets them up to where they are in front of millions more eyeballs than they have been before and can give them a legitimate, better benefit of the doubt than what you can get in the Big 12, man. It's awesome.
Wow, Cam.
It's awesome. I love it. I love it. And you got to take care of business. If Baylor loses, then whatever. They're not gonna get ranked. They're not gonna be respected or anything. But Brett Yormark's done his job in that sense.
I got one more for you, and this is more of I'm just giving you a task.
Okay.
I can't believe you haven't called Chris Visser yet. Okay, let me explain.
I know. I meant to ask you about that.
Let me explain this. I don't know how to approach. Let me explain this to you. Okay, the guy is Boston in his DNA. Like, that's who he is. All these guys that you've listened to your whole life, that you've read your whole life, Chris Visser, he's got him on speed dial, and he wants to help you. I'm going to send you his number one last time after this show, and after that, I'm out of it. Okay?
Hey, that's fair. That's fair. And I should have asked you earlier. I just don't know. I'm so bad at approaching these kinds of things.
He is the absolute gentleman and a delight. Okay.
I'm not even saying I have to do this, but what I actually really struggle at is kissing ass. You don't
have to kiss his ass.
Again, I'm not even saying I have to do that with Chris Visser, but whenever I go into like having a connection somewhere, I never know how to do it.
I love a guy with the chip on his shoulder.
Or begging for a job. So
I love a guy with the chip on his shoulder, which is why I love you. And I'm going to see you in a half hour on your show. What time?
Yeah, half past the hour.
All right. That's Cam Stewart. Yeah. There he goes. Cam Stewart. Watch him on the Cam show. Watch him with Locked On Baylor. Yeah, I had to do that with Chris Visser. I'm like, what's the disconnect here? Does he not respect my guidance here? Cam's my guy. All right, the Pete Sousa show. We're going to come back. We got Dan Ingham's football pick, which is huge, and it's a winner. So we're going to give you that. And then I'm going to talk to you about the Cowboys. And why I expect them not just to win this weekend, but to absolutely dominate against the Chicago Bears. That's the late window on Fox on Sunday. We'll break it down, and then we'll bounce. The Pete Sousa Show presented by Slovakics.
It doesn't matter if your investment budget is small or big. All you need is Benzinga Pro and its powerful news alerts, price tracking, and portfolio monitoring. Subscribe now, and we'll skyrocket your portfolio today.
Experience with the Bosley MD hair regrowth kit was amazing. It was easy to use. It let me take off my hat. I could go in public and have my picture taken and feel normal again.
BosleyMD.com.
Join us at golfpartnerusa.com and discover why we're the trusted choice for golf lovers worldwide. That's GOLFPARTNERUSA.com. Golf Partner. Experience the future of secure private cloud storage with Internix. Protect your files with end-to-end encryption, ensuring your data stays private and accessible only to you. That's INTERNXT.com today.
Apollo Neuro is a new kind of wearable that helps your body recover from stress, that helps you calm down and feel better. You sleep better, and you can get back to being yourself. Learn more at apolloneuro.com.
Protect your online privacy with NordVPN. Browse securely, access content from anywhere, and keep your data safe with military-grade encryption. NordVPN.com. That's NORDVPN.com.
Our patented handles were launched in 2018. We continue to push the boundaries of strength training. Join us in making your training more natural and effective. Visit Engels90.com to learn more and revolutionize your workout.
Dive into adventure with Scuba.com, your ultimate destination for top-tier scuba and snorkeling gear. Whether you're a beginner or a pro, trust Scuba.com for the best in diving equipment and expert guidance. Explore now at Scuba.com. That's SCUBA.com. Scuba.com. At Fullwell, we bring together the expertise of registered dietitians, MDs, and OBGYNs to give you the best fertility support. Fullwell, your trusted partner on your fertility journey. Visit us at fullwellfertility.com. Experience the perfect blend of exquisite craftsmanship and life-changing technology with Gevi. Every product is built with precision, featuring specialized parts that ensure durability, efficiency, and safety. Upgrade your everyday with Gevi. Visit us at gevi.com to discover more.
It's the Pete Sousa Show.
With San, owning iconic furniture no longer requires paying a premium. With over 15,000 satisfied customers worldwide, we've proven that high-quality furniture doesn't have to come with a high price tag. Explore our collection today at san.com.
At Covers & All, we've revolutionized protective solutions with cutting-edge, customizable covers, tarps, and curtains. We deliver premier protection at affordable prices and express shipping. Visit coversandall.com today for the perfect fit, guaranteed to last.
Relax with Hemp Delicious. Organically grown hemp, massively blended with delicious organic herbs, responsibly sourced for their holistic benefits. Each sip offers calming, antioxidant-rich wellness. Brewed just for you. Sip the calm with Hemp Delicious.
At Open Goal USA, we're revolutionizing training for both soccer and lacrosse with our innovative portable rebounders. Perfect for players of all ages and skill levels. Visit OpenGOAAALUSA.com and elevate your training today.
Get paid faster with Bill, the easiest way to send, receive, and manage your payments. No more delays, no more hassle. Whether you're a freelancer or a business, Bill makes payments seamless and secure, simple, fast, and reliable. Sign up today at Bill.com.
Stability.
All right, the Pete Sousa Show presented by Slovacics. We are rocking and rolling here on a Friday. Really cool to talk with Cam Stewart. And you know, we kind of like tackled some dicey topics, and you cover them the best you can. I really am discouraged with like just how palpable the environment is. You know, it's, I guess not palpable, just how negative, you know, and like, I don't want to say maybe it's toxic. I don't know, but I wish as Americans we could just all come together again. And I think we will find that place again, but man, it's ugly out there. So my only advice to anyone, okay, this is real advice. Okay. When you see these people and they're lashing out, whether it's on social media, on I don't care what side they're on, right? They're hurting. Truthfully, like people are in pain right now. And when people are in pain, they tend to, you know, act off of fear, which is like, it's not like a knock. I do the same thing. I'm sure I'll do it later today. It's a normal human emotion. And I think a lot of people are scared. And so that's why you see a lot of what you're seeing right now. So try to put that in your mind before you react or you conjure up some negative thought like I have done recently. I'm talking to you just as much as I'm talking to me. I promise you that. All right, let's get to Dan Ingham's pick. Dan wants no part of that, so we'll start this segment by saying First National Bank of Central Texas, baby. We absolutely love you guys, and we are so happy. By the way, it's like a bank a year, dude, and now it's like a bank every 6 months. Like they're taking over. So don't be surprised wherever you go that you won't see First National Bank of Central Texas, right? And if you do, put your money in there, right? It's a safe spot to put your money. It's probably going to grow for you. Dan will have some goodies for you if you show up there and open up a new account. And one of my favorite things about First National Bank of Central Texas and an outlet like that, there he is. Speaking of the money man, Scotty Swingler is going to join us for this quick segment, but they're all like, it's a down-home operation. They've got the smarts to take care of your money and to help it grow. And they also will make you feel comfortable and make you feel like family. Speaking of family, here he is, Scotty Swingler. Scotty, I know that you have done a tremendous job working up Dan's pick for this week. And it's funny because I don't even know what his pick is. He reached out to you, not me.
Let me tell you about it. First of all,
he's 0-2.
Dan missed last week. He said Oregon State would cover against Texas Tech. They did not. They did not. The line was 23.5. Texas Tech won by 31. So our boy Dan needs a little turnaround here. And by the way, Dan sent me this pick. I had already made this pick in my personal life because I think it's a good one. Pete Sousa, the over-under for the big game here in Waco tomorrow, 60.5. Notably, Baylor's defense cannot stop a nosebleed. Notably, 2 of the best 5 quarterbacks in America are playing in this football game. Dan says, and this guy agrees with him, take the over tomorrow, Baylor, Arizona State. And listen, I totally agree with him. 60.5, that means if we get into the 30s on both sides, that's an over, right? I don't think there's any question both of these teams have clipped 30 points in this ball game. Unless it is just, and it's college football, anything can happen. I would genuinely be shocked if this game doesn't go to 70, 80 points between the two teams.
I like that pick a lot, and I like the sense behind that pick. I also like two things. Once again, just on Baylor and why they're going to score a lot of points. I don't know if you noticed, McShay is now talking about Josh Cameron.
Yes.
All right.
I did notice.
And once again, he went back and poured a little more on his Sawyer Robertson love. And Danny Cannell, did you see this?
Yes.
Said that Sawyer Robertson's the best quarterback in the country.
I saw him say that.
Now, I'm not saying those dudes have crystal balls, but they know football and they watch football.
They don't compliment. They're not like me.
Yeah.
I'm going to compliment Baylor players because I'm a Baylor fan. These guys do a job to be objective and say what they see on tape.
Yeah.
And both those guys, I think, know what they're doing. But it's the combination, Pete, of I think Arizona State's going to go over 30. Baylor, not to just keep driving the point home, but Baylor's defense is awful. Auburn and SMU had no problem getting past 30 against Baylor. Don't know why Arizona State would. They got the best receiver in the conference, maybe. With
What about,
Tyson.
dude, this is a quick update. I want to get your take on this. What about Phoenix Jackson, dude?
Oh, yeah. Phoenix Jackson's out for the season.
No, that's a guy who I know you liked a ton.
I did. Over. Well,
has he been ineffective this year? Has he played at all?
He has played.
Okay.
I have seen him show some flashes, especially against Auburn. I saw some flashes from Phoenix Jackson where I was like, okay, there's a guy that can tackle, which Baylor doesn't have a lot of right now. But I think it's unfortunate. Dave Aranda said after the spring, I believe it was the end of spring, Phoenix Jackson is the best player on this defense when he's healthy.
Yeah.
And that was a huge statement. Like, we got Keaton Thomas. That's a first team all Big 12 guy.
Yeah.
You know? And so I think I expected more from Phoenix Jackson, but now that he's had surgery and he's out, I wonder if he was ever healthy in those first 3 games or if this was something that was lingering. I don't think we actually know the details there.
Okay.
And so, I wish him well. I hope he recovers and gets to come back next year. And listen, Keaton Thomas is also supposed to be back next year unless he jumps to the league, which he's a little undersized. Who knows? But we're going to need him. We're going to need him at Baylor. So he tweeted out something sweet about, God's plan.
Yeah.
It's all good.
I like that. I was like,
he's got good, Baylor's pretty good about
Yeah.
Cultivating that. And he's got a good spirit about him. But it's a loss just because Baylor didn't have a lot of Baylor has question marks about starters on defense, let alone its depth. So even though he was rotating in with Kylan Reed, Travion Barnes, there's a few linebackers that have kind of rotated in there next to Keaton Thomas. He probably has the highest upside out of all of them. So definitely a bummer. Definitely a big loss for the Bears.
Do you like Baylor winning this game? Excuse me.
Well, Pete, I said I wasn't going to pick this game till tomorrow.
You can wait. You can wait.
I tend to be I'll just say this. I tend to be an optimist.
Okay.
The question that we will answer this week, we said this on Please Bear With Me Sunday night. Is this 2012 Baylor or 2014 Baylor? Both of those teams had bad defenses. Defenses that force turnovers, can make some plays here and there. Bad defenses, though.
Well, the 2014 team almost went to the playoffs.
But had a bad defense.
Yeah.
Here's the difference. The 2012 team's offense, despite breaking school records, despite Nick Florence having more total yards than Johnny Manziel going into the Heisman ceremony, they went 8-5 because against West Virginia, they lost 70-63. That was a typical experience in 2012. I could see this team being that, or I could see this team being 2014, where every week we're like, man, what's our defense going to do? And Sawyer and Josh and Bryson and these dudes just outgun everybody. So are we going to go 8-5 or 11-2?
I'm looking up the schedule. Hold on.
Could be either way. It could really be either way. Either way, I believe in this offense. I need to see more from the defense. Sam Levitt is scary, bro. Scary, especially after what Jackson Arnold did to you a few weeks ago.
Let's just walk through this,
Yeah.
okay? Because I think you can't underestimate how important this game is. Okay.
Oh, it's crucial. Ganaway said Sunday night, the next 3 games are the most important 3 games of Baylor season. This one, and then you have to win the 2 after that. Oklahoma State and Kansas State.
Well, that's
have
to.
to.
You should.
You have to go 3-0, right?
Okay, let's just look at this, right? Baylor's favored against Arizona State.
Yeah.
They will be favored against Oklahoma State. They will be favored against Kansas State at home.
Yes.
They may be a slight underdog on the road at TCU. Okay.
Depends on how TCU does for the next 3 weeks as well. But yeah, I can see that.
They'll be favored against Cincinnati.
Yeah.
They'll be favored at home against UCF.
Yes.
And then you have 16th ranked Utah coming in here.
Huge game.
That's at home.
By the way, I am so curious.
That's off a bye.
My opinion of Utah is going to be shaped so strongly by tomorrow's game at Texas Tech. Yeah.
And then Arizona and then Houston, like, dude.
By the way, Arizona and Houston both undefeated.
Yeah. Good point.
Like, I don't know that they're that good, but they might be.
Yeah, they might be. But what I'm saying is, like, and I said this before the season started, like, it is so easy to have become a prisoner of the moment with that Auburn game. That's your first game. That's all you saw. Auburn is like, we're going to find out a ton about them too tomorrow when they play Oklahoma.
I think Auburn's going to win that game, by the way.
Well, they better, because I saw Hugh Freeze is still like up there in coaches to get fired. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, they need to win like 9 games this season.
But by the way, that you want to talk about like a college football like situation, and you got Jackson Arnold going back to Oklahoma, where John Mateer, a guy he played against in high school, is everything so far that he couldn't be. So he has a chance to go in there and rip that out of them.
I'm rooting for Auburn. Like I think they can win it. I'm also rooting for them, not just because it helps Baylor's resume, the better Auburn is, but that would be a cool story for Jackson Arnold.
Woo!
And I hated Jackson Arnold going into week 1 for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
I'm kind of pulling for the kid now. Like I like seeing people overcome and triumph, and that would be a cool story. It'd be really cool for.
All right. Speaking of cool stories, let me talk about the Cowboys, and then we'll get out of here. That's Scotty Swingler. Catch him on Green and Gold tomorrow with me on KWTX, and then later on YouTube. Okay, I had some notes here about the Cowboys, right? And they are. Let me get the point spread up for this, just so I'm accurate here. Because, and make sure you do all your fantasy betting on Underdog. Scotty, I got to do a better job with promoting Underdog. I mean, I'm playing it. They're amazing. And I know you're throwing a tantrum over there because you've tried to help me before. I'm just telling on myself. Okay. Underdog is an amazing sponsor for us. You go there. It's so simple. You just get online and boom. Okay. And they do a great job. Make sure you download the app too. I've been using it, and surprise, surprise, I'm kicking ass. I'm winning. All right, let's talk about the Cowboys now. The Cowboys, let's see. So they play, obviously, the Bears, and I mentioned the game was on Fox in the late window. It's in Chicago, and the number right now is Dallas minus 1.5. I thought it was higher than that, and it should be. The Dallas Cowboys are going to make a statement on Sunday. And they're going to make this statement for a couple reasons. One, because Dak Prescott is playing some of the best football. I know it's a small sample size, but he's playing some of the best football we've seen this guy play in a while. And not my words, right? The great Troy Aikman. Troy yesterday was talking about Dak. I think he was on the ticket in Dallas, and he had mentioned that he has never seen Dak in this much control. And he's ecstatic about it. He feels like Prescott has been surgical over the first 2 weeks. And I think that is something, and we probably should expect it, right? Because he's the highest paid quarterback in the league. That's still right, Scotty? Yeah, he's the highest paid quarterback in the league. Scotty says that's why we don't have him in this segment. He'd run it right off the tracks. He says, unfortunately. But I think there's a reason why he's paid all that money. And I think we're starting to be reminded of that reason. Last year, this guy got hurt, dude. And if he is healthy, the Cowboys have won. And the Cowboys have won a ton of regular season games over the course of Dak Prescott's career. So it's not unthinkable for this team to have a real productive year and be a playoff team under the tutelage of what is now like a veteran, fit, slick, sharp Dak Prescott. And you look at some of the tools on the outside, Pickens, Lamb, those guys specifically in this game, Jason Ferguson as well. Chicago's secondary is completely banged up, right? If there's one team in this league that you want to face if you're a quarterback right now, it's the Chicago Bears. And on the other side of that, the Cowboys get back Tyler Guyton. Diggs is back. I mean, like they're ready. Like they're as healthy as they've been in a while, despite the loss of Cooper Beebe, which is a big deal. I mean, he's out for 6 to 8 weeks, and working with quarterbacks, when you lose your center, there is quite an adjustment to be made there. So you have to hope the Cowboys, Brooke Hoffman will be starting in place of Beebe. You have to hope that, he will come back. He will come out there and just be able to steady the ship. If not, then they'll get creative, right? And you'll see a guard come over, play center. Hopefully Hoffman is the guy for Cowboys fans. But you also, and I didn't mention, Kevontae Turpin is back. So you got 3 huge players back. Diggs is back. Turpin is back. Guyton is back. And Todd Archer mentioned it to us earlier this week on Monday. But I think it is a huge feather in the Cowboys' cap and defensively for Matt Eberflus, by the way, heading back to Chicago in his first game back there. So you can bet that he's going to have his A game as he rolls into Soldier Field. But I think that once you get Overshawn back late in the season, maybe earlier in November now, you keep hearing he's looking pretty good. Now, hopefully he comes back at 100%. But like, if I'm a Cowboys fan, I'm starting to get excited about this team. I mean, I got my Eagles helmet here, right? But I have to stay objective. I like what the Cowboys are doing. I like where they're going. And I think Sunday is a huge opportunity for the Cowboys to go in there, to take care of business, and to announce pretty much to the rest of the league, like, yo, we're for real. Yeah, we know we don't have Micah Parsons. We get it, right? But this is a team to be reckoned with in the NFC East. So I'm looking forward to watching that game, looking forward to watching all the football. Again, I'll be with Scotty tomorrow morning on KWTX for the Baylor pregame show. And then, of course, we'll be on the Green and Gold show tomorrow afternoon, starting at 3:30 on YouTube, Scotty. And I was actually getting set to start jogging on the Cameron Park Trail yesterday, and I saw Faith Lynch. So she's a teammate, right? I just gave her a pound. She put her hand outside the window. She's a Green and Gold teammate. Boom, let's go, right? We're ready to rock and roll for Green and Gold. Scotty is really working overtime, right? He is. And Liz is now in the studio, which is always good for Scotty. It kind of lightens his mood a little bit, changes his perspective. I actually kept the windows open today at Scotty's behest. And I think that I think it's something we might stick with, Scotty.
It's good for everybody's mental health.
It's definitely is good for our mental health in here. Yeah. And it kind of urges me to stick around and do more after the show, which is always nice. All right. I'm going to be on Cam Stewart show coming up here in a little bit. So I got to bounce. Check out Inside the 12, every Big 12 market you're in. You can see it on the tube here, probably tonight in your market. You can check your local listings and then watch it on HBO Max, watch it on True TV. And it's on the Big 12's YouTube channel. Make sure you like and subscribe for this show. Yeah, we're up to, I think, 85,000 subscribers right now. So we've witnessed a little bit of a surge. Yeah, just keep watching, man. Keep joining in. I so appreciate everybody and the opportunity that we've been given here with this show. All right, I'm terrible at getting out of here. For Scotty Swingler, for Chris Visser, for the whole team here at the Rogue Media Network, I am Pete Sousa. We will see you on Monday. We'll be talking with Anthony Becht. Anthony is hopefully going to be talking about Rocco having another big weekend. Zach, come on in, buddy. We got Zach Burke in here too. Hulk Hogan, man. Zach, is that a mustache? Oh, no, it's a full-on beard. Wow. All right, it's time for me to go. See you.
It's the Pete Sousa Show. Sports.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level, when we shut down, to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning, so we love Extraco.
Show. Sports.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at 70 miles an hour. I was injured, had a concussion. The insurance company, they delayed. They were playing games from the initial conversation. They weren't going to help me. The biggest thing I learned through this is that you can't go through this alone. I called Daniel Stark. They were going to help me and everything was going to be all right. Daniel Stark got me 10 times the insurance company offered.
The difference is stark.
Show. Sports.
Our professionals are not only experts in managing urgent concerns, but also in providing top-notch preventative health care. We're proud to connect pet owners to a vast network of licensed veterinary professionals, ready to address any immediate concerns. Book your first appointment today.
Nalgene Outdoor has been your trusted companion, fueling adventures and helping protect the planet. We're committed to reducing waste, improving access to clean water, and providing simple, safe, and sustainable products for you and your family. NALGENE.com. We are Rogue Media Sports.